These are the plaintiffs, Lenore and William Mulady. They say the defendant rented their father's one-family house and everything was fine until he snuck out at 2 a.m. one night. When they finally caught up with him and asked what his problem was, the guy told them the place was unlivable. Huh? They're suing for $1,950, the remainder of the unpaid rent. This is the defendant, David Kurtz. He says the place was unclean. There were no fire detectors, cracks in the foundation, and it was also infested with mice. He had no choice but to move out because his complaints fell on deaf ears, so he made an executive decision and took off. Oh, them money? Ha! Good one. He's accused of pulling a Vanishing Act.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiffs say the defendant rented the family house and snuck out in the middle of the night without paying rent. But the defendant says he fled because the place was a disaster. It's the case of night flight.
Lenore and William Mulady, you are suing David Kurtz, your former tenant, for $1,950 that you say he owes you as a result of not paying rent for 3 months and bailing on the lease. Okay, what happened?
Well, David signed a lease on August 15th.
What is this, a house or an apartment?
It's a house, actually.
And is David a student?
Yes.
Go on.
And he came over. He has two roommates.
So you rented to him, and on the lease is his name and the other two people.
Right, well, they actually signed a separate lease. All
three, each of them signed a separate lease.
Right, for $650 a month each. Okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't do it that way.
You shouldn't do it that way. And when actually his dad, who was there, had said to us, "Yes, I do that now."
And why shouldn't you do it that way?
In case one leaves.
Exactly.
The others will be responsible.
If all three of them are on one lease, then each are jointly and severally responsible for everything. You can sue any of them for anybody else's not paying. You can tell them, "I want one check," or you could take 3 checks. It won't make a difference. Each of them will be jointly and severally liable. That means they're each have the problem. If one of them bails, it's their problem to get a substitute. You don't have 3 different leases. So anyway, if things go well, school starts, everything's going fine until it's not. In February, we have a problem. And what is the problem?
Well, actually, things weren't going all that well. We've been over to the house quite a few times. My son's pool table was in the garage all covered up. They had taken that out, set it up, and they were playing, what's the name of that?
Beer pong.
Beer pong on the pool table?
On an $800 slate.
Oh my gosh, no respect. Is that accurate?
Nah, my roommates were doing different things.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in school from about 9 a.m. until anywhere from 10 to midnight because I have classes late and I work during the day at school. So I'm not home, so what they do is not any of my business, and when they got in trouble, they took it down.
Oh my God, that needed saying that you can't play beer pong on a pool table? That's the other problem with 3 different leases. Oh, not my problem. In any event, but you find out he moved out. And what did he say was the reason he was moving?
Well, that was it. I read the letter and my whole stomach dropped because it was like, this is a pigsty, this is an awful house. And I'm thinking, wow, that was our house 6 months ago. I didn't think it was actually in good condition. We have very good pictures of it. Okay. And I felt bad and I was worried. So I quickly called his mother to make sure everything was all right. You just never know when something like that happens, 2:00 in the morning. But when I got the mother, she was as mean as David was with his letter. And it was it wasn't a real good feeling.
These are the pictures of the house that when you put it up for
well, it was we were going to sell it before they, and so it was on isoldmyhouse.com. So it was in very good shape.
All right, now, so here we are now 6 months later, and he's saying, can I see the letter that he sent you? What did he say on the phone message?
Thought he left a message saying you'll be getting a letter.
Did you leave a message on the recorder?
I left him a message after I moved out. It was
is that how you do stuff? Like, when you break up with somebody, do you text them? Like, how do you?
No, I called and they
So you left a message, was it at 2 in the morning?
No.
Okay.
I called them after I was fully moved out at 7.
Why didn't you call them before you moved out to tell them that you're going to move out?
Because every time I called them, I have phone records. Every time I called them, I've left messages. I have 5 times where it shows on my call records that I left messages because it's obviously long. The other times...
Wait, 5 times in the span of what?
A couple different months where I had different problems.
Okay.
Once was heat. The heat didn't work in the house. So I called them about that.
Okay, did they fix that?
They never responded. Nobody ever called me back.
Okay.
And I called them several times, leaving messages. And finally, somebody did come, the State Line Oil, and they fixed the heat.
Okay.
And then shortly after, Miss Blady showed up to just check and make sure the heat was working. And she mentioned to my roommate and myself that the temperature must stay around 65 because I don't want to be paying a lot of money for oil.
Right.
Because 65 is cold, especially in an older house. I called.
Why'd you move out?
Why did I move out?
Yeah.
Because I was having issues with the house. I ended up getting sick. I have asthma, so I had problems breathing. There were mice up above me.
There's mice up above you.
Yes, there's mice above in the ceiling. When I moved in, they never mentioned anything about mice problems. And when I moved in, there were mice traps in the house. But, you know, I can't.
This house is in the woods, right?
Yeah.
Sure,
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
woods
Okay, so
around.
it's not a cleanliness
But
issue or anything else.
If you look at like
The
pictures.
mice live in the woods. We're the ones who came in.
Right.
But let me just ask you a question. Did you
there's
ever
pictures.
listen to my question? Did you ever call them to say we have a mice problem and it needs addressing with an exterminator, and they refused to do it?
So if there are mice in the house, can the defendant move out and get the security back and not pay rent? What do you think?
I think that they can, because if they move in and they don't know that there's mice and then they find out that there are mice halfway through, then I think that they have the right to leave.
Fair enough. Would you move out of a house that had mice in it?
No.
You would live with the mice?
I would set traps.
Huh?
I would set traps.
Interesting. Would you move out if there were mice?
I mean, yeah, probably.
You just couldn't handle it.
No, I'm not into rodents.
Got your point. You're not into rodents. Going inside the courtroom.
I mentioned that we had a problem with mice, but they never responded every
When
time
did
I
you
called.
mention that?
I don't know the exact date. It was one of those times I called.
Did he ever mention to you that there was a mouse problem?
No, never.
This is what this is about. Your version on why you don't need to pay rent from February 15th through May 15th is what?
Is I moved into a house that was unsafe. There were no fire detectors in the house. There's cracks in the foundation, cracks in the windows in the house that were there when I moved in, chip paint.
If they were there when
And
you
then
moved in and you signed a lease that says the house is in acceptable condition, why are they a problem now? Is there something that happened that made you move out that you're not telling me
before I
about?
actually moved in.
Is there something else that's happening that you're not telling me
I kept
about?
getting sick. And
Did you have a problem with your roommate?
I had a problem. I would adjust the heat so it'd be warmer for me. He'd start getting mad because Miss Milady didn't want the temperature above 65 because that was too warm and that'd be wasting gas. We were also accused of raising.
Did you have a problem with your roommate?
I had some issues with dealing with problems with the house because he was supposed to
The answer
communicate.
to my question then is no or yes?
No.
No. Did he have a problem with his roommate?
Well, when we went over the next day to see why he left, Nick said that they have had some issues, that Nick wasn't comfortable with his girlfriend being there as
With
often
whose
as she
girlfriend?
was. With David's girlfriend.
With David's girlfriend being there so much.
So much.
Did you end up moving into your girlfriend's?
No, I don't live
Where
with my
did you go
girlfriend.
in February?
I moved home.
Okay. So did you take pictures of what you're complaining about?
I took
Yeah,
pictures.
let me see that. This is a picture of a broken window pane.
Yeah, there's broken windows in there.
Why didn't it just get fixed? Did anybody bring to your attention there was a broken window pane? Who broke the window pane?
They were broken when I moved in. Those are pictures from when I moved in.
Since you accepted it that way and you signed a lease that
I
said
signed the
everything's fine,
lease.
did you ever say to them, hey, but I want this fixed?
No, I didn't.
Okay. What is this a picture of?
That was when I moved out, just to show that the space was just as clean as when I moved in.
What is this a picture of?
That's the foundation. That's all cracked up. Where the door is coming in from the basement, the hatchway.
Is this the basement?
Yes.
Okay. Is this the basement too?
Yes, that's showing there's a light. As soon as you walk down, there's no fire detectors or CO2 detectors.
Okay, but you didn't. Those cost $20 at Home Depot.
But I
that doesn't
called
give you the
them-
right to say it's uninhabitable. I'm leaving.
But every time I call and I leave a message saying I'm
Let's
having
see how many
issues,
times you called.
there's other times that they don't show up. If you call
Okay,
somebody,
but how many
without
times am I
leaving
going
a
to see here
message,
that you called?
It should show about 5.
This is only August and September. Show me about the calls where they're ignoring you and the place is
I can't-
uninhabitable and you're complaining
I
about
can't
mice
prove-
and all that. Show me calls when you move out in January, February.
I can't prove to you the phone calls that I make, and they don't stick as.
Mr. Kurtz, nothing that I am hearing convinces me that this is anything more than what it looks like, which is that you had a complaint about your roommate, you had a problem with your roommate, and then you left. You have absolutely no document. Let me tell you how people prove up your side of the case. I see these cases all the time. They have proof. They show me phone records. They show certified letters. They show emails where they're asking their slumlords to please take care of the problem. The slumlords won't take care of the problem because they're busy whooping it up in the new place that they're living, and they don't care about you or your problems. They don't send a repairman. That's how you prove that a place is uninhabitable. You can't just claim it's uninhabitable because you want to break your lease. I find in this case in favor of the plaintiffs. Do you have a security deposit of his?
Yes.
Yes.
You don't have any evidence that he damaged anything, right?
There's a number of things, but as you said, I don't know
Anything in
if
his
it's
room?
David's fault. His room was perfectly
Okay.
clean.
So you already have $650 of this, right?
Yes. Right. Yes.
All right. Then your claim would be for 2 months worth of $650. The security deposit is being taken over for rent, and that means an additional $1,300 verdict for the plaintiff.
If you have a problem with a place you're renting, you almost always have to give your landlord a reasonable opportunity to cure the problem before you're allowed to take the law into your own hands and move.